Breaking news: it's looking like the war in Israel and Gaza isn't ending soon, as recent development already indicates that this may turn into a full-blown war in no distant time. US President Joe Biden, in a press conference in Tel Aviv, has insisted that the United States will have Israel's back, support, and stand with Israel at all times. This is coming shortly after Saudi Arabia has summoned the Organization of Islamic Cooperation in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, for an emergency meeting to discuss ways to protecting Palestine. This is a very unfortunate development, and we hope that this war comes to an end in no distant time. This is what Joe Biden said.
The United States has Israel's back. We will make sure the Jewish and democratic state of Israel can defend itself today, tomorrow, as we always have. It's as simple as that. These atrocities have been sickening. We're with Israel. Let's make no mistake.
Meanwhile, Salman bin Abdulaziz, the ruler of Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, has called for an emergency meeting of the member states of the Organization of Islamic Cooperation, OIC. The OIC is the second largest organization after the United Nations, with a membership of 57 states spread across 4 continents. The organization is a collective voice of the Muslim world. According to a statement posted on OIC's official website on Sunday, the meeting is slated for October 18th and 19th in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. The emergency meeting is called to discuss the ongoing conflict in Gaza Strip between Hamas and Israel. At the invitation of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, which chairs the current session of the Islamic Summit and the Executive Committee of the Organization of Islamic Cooperation, OIC. The organization's Executive Committee is convening an urgent, open-ended extraordinary meeting at the ministerial level to address the escalating military situation in Gaza and its environs, as well as the deteriorating conditions that endanger the lives of civilians and the overall security and stability of the region, the statement reads. The extraordinary meeting of the Executive Committee of the OIC will take place on Wednesday, October 18, 2023, at the General Secretariat Headquarters in Jeddah Governorate. On October 7, Hamas launched an unprecedented and coordinated land, air, and sea incursion of Israel, which reportedly killed 1,300 Israelis. According to Gaza's health ministry, at least 1,900 Palestinians have been killed by Israeli retaliating strikes, including 614 children and 370 women. Nigeria has been a member of the OIC since 1986.
In the wake of Hamas's appalling terrorist assault, it was brutal, inhumane, almost beyond belief what they did. This cabinet came together and standing strong, standing united, and I want you to know you're not alone. You are not alone. As I emphasized earlier, we will continue to have Israel's back as you work to defend your people. We'll continue to work with you and partners across the region to prevent more tragedy to innocent civilians. 75 years ago, your founders declared that this nation would be one based, quote, based on freedom, justice, and peace. Based on freedom, justice, and peace. The United States stands with you in defense of that freedom, in pursuit of that justice, and in support of that peace. Today, tomorrow, and always, we promise you. To be a safe place for the Jewish people of the world. That's why I was born. I've long said, if Israel didn't exist, we'd have to invent it. While it may not feel that way today, Israel must again be a safe place for the Jewish people. And I promise you, we're going to do everything in our power to make sure that it will be. 75 years ago, just 11 minutes after its founding, President Harry S. Truman and the United States of America became the first nation to recognize Israel. We've stood by your side ever since. We're going to stand by your side now. My administration was in close touch with your leadership from the first moments of this attack. We're going to make sure that we have what you need to protect your people, to defend your nation. For decades, we've ensured Israel's qualitative military edge. And later this week, I'm going to ask the United States Congress for an unprecedented support package for Israel's defense. We're going to keep Iron Dome fully supplied so we can continue standing sentinel over Israeli skies, saving Israeli lives. We've moved U.S. military assets to the region, including positioning the USS Ford Carrier Strike Group in the Eastern Mediterranean, with the USS Eisenhower on the way to defer further aggression against Israel and to prevent this conflict from spreading. The world will know that Israel is stronger than ever. And my message to any state or any other hostile actor thinking about attacking Israel remains the same as it was a week ago. Don't. Since this terrorist attack took place, we've seen it described as Israel's 9/11. But for a nation the size of Israel, it was like 15 9/11s. The scale may be different, but I'm sure those horrors have tapped into some kind of primal feeling in Israel, just like it did and felt in the United States. Shock, pain, rage, an all-consuming rage. I understand, and many Americans understand. You can't look at what has happened here to your mothers, your fathers, your grandparents, sons, daughters, children, even babies, and not scream out for justice. Justice must be done. But I caution this: while you feel that rage, don't be consumed by it. After 9/11, we were enraged in the United States. While we sought justice and got justice, we also made mistakes. I'm the first U.S. president to visit Israel in time of war. I've made wartime decisions. I know the choices are never clear or easy for the leadership. There's always cost, but it requires being deliberate. It requires asking very hard questions. It requires clarity about the objectives and an honest assessment about whether the path you're on will achieve those objectives. The vast majority of Palestinians are not Hamas. Hamas does not represent the Palestinian people. Hamas uses innocent families in Gaza as human shields, putting their command centers, their weapons, their communications tunnels in residential areas. Palestinian people are suffering greatly as well. We mourn the loss of innocent Palestinian lives like the entire world. I was outraged and saddened by the enormous loss of life yesterday in the hospital in Gaza. Based on the information we've seen to date, it appears the result of an errant rocket fired by a terrorist group in Gaza. The United States unequivocally stands for the protection of civilian life during conflict, and I truly grieve for the families who were killed or wounded by this tragedy.